How's it going? David from Comic Book Investments. So I do this all the time. This is my review of our auction that we have. We have quarterly auctions, if you didn't know. And then this one ended, I think mid-February. So it was like a month ago. But things are settling down for me personally, and so I'm going to go back and do a review of what's going on. It wasn't. I will say it was around $200,000 is what we got in, which seems to be the norm. It wasn't as big as the last auction in terms of this one. We only had, let's see, I wrote down a little over 1,000 items. The previous auction we had 1,200, but if you compare it to the first winter auction that we did, we only had 437 items. So definitely, 2.5 times bigger than that, but that was like our first auction. So growing year over year. Hopefully we can continue it to go. We're running an auction right now. Send in your consignments. They're good until the end of this month. So yeah, end of March is the cutoff date if you want to send us some consignments. We're running 0% fees on everything. No buyer's premium, no seller fees, no nothing. You get 100% of it, and it costs you nothing. So a win-win all around. Helps us grow, and that's why we do it. It won't be free forever, but if you want to do it, just go to our website, collectorscomics.com. Literally hit this consign now, and it'll take you through the forum. So yeah, let's review some of the stuff, some of our heavy hitters, and see how they did. I've literally not gone through this, so we're going to go through it together. Sometimes I used to pull them up, and compare. So I had it all pulled up, but I'll just do it literally one by. So let's go to our biggest book. X-Men #1 sold for $7,700 and a 2.0. Let's scroll down here to X-Men. Hopefully you guys can see everything. Okay, yeah. X-Men #1 and a 2.0, or sorry, 2.5. 2.5 sold in February. So let's try to get around February as well. 2.5. All right, 5,800. That was one that sold recently for 2.5. So ours definitely did much better. Am I looking at X-Men 1? Yeah, X-Men 1. This seems so off. If we go December, 7,300. 6,900 was in December through Heritage. And then 8,700, but doesn't have a link. I am linking up with the GPA. I have to send them all these sales. So these will be in the GPA. Hopefully, we're working on some back-end stuff. They have like a lot of things that we have to do. So hopefully I can get those in within the next month or so. So these will actually be cataloged in there. But wow, that did really well. Maybe this is an off. Let's see. Last sale for this one was 5,900 for 2.0. Let's see a 3.0. 8,300 for a 3.0. So I don't know. 58 is way too low. So whoever got that for 5,800, you did really well. I mean, there's no link to click, so that's a private sale, and that could be anything, to be honest. Usually, so the way GPA works, because I'm working with them, is they need links to your site, so, or however you sell it. So if it doesn't have a link, it's usually a private sale, because they have all links to eBay, all links to, like, say, Heritage and Comic Connect and things like that. So very odd. 8,300 for a 3.0. 79 was a recent one for a 3.5. So wow, this one sold for almost 10 grand though, a couple months prior. Yeah. So auctions, that's the thing with auctions, kind of all over the place. If you got this one for 5,800, you did really well. So 77, that was great for an auction book. Fantastic. I'm happy for everyone involved. All right, let's go with Marvel Super, or not, the Special Marvel Edition 15. This is our next biggest heavy hitter. This first appearance is Shang-Chi in a 9.8. Got a little diamond there, highest grade. Okay, let's look at this. Ooh, 7,500 worth. This. Ooh, 54. Ooh. Let's see. Oh well, we got one in January through Heritage. One sold for $51.60. This one, again, I can't click it, so this was a private sale. And also, if you guys didn't know, which I find very odd, my comic shop, which I talked to them about this, they will upload something even though the sale could have happened a year ago. Like if you do a time payment plan with my comic shop, the day they count the sale date as your original. So what they do, for example, if you bought it, say in June, and you started making payments, right when you make your last payment, that's when they count it as sold. So this January, if it was sold through my comic shop, I don't think it was. They usually have a link, but if it was, this could have been sold way back here, when that was like the normal price, way back like a year ago or so. So this one in June, the average price was $92.50 for a 9.8. That's how they do it. When it should be the moment someone puts down a deposit, it should be considered paid, because most deposits are non-refundable. So you cannot put down, most people require 20 to 25% down. So if you bought this book for, let's say it was 10 grand, you would have to put down 20 to 25% depending on the site, and you would not, if you decided I don't want to pay for it anymore, and say you made another payment, you might get that payment back, but you don't get your initial deposit back. So that's when it should be paid for. So it should be technically paid for in June, not when it's finished, because you never know what someone could happen. What if I've had customers myself go like, hey, sorry, I ran into some financial trouble. They're like halfway done paying with the book. I'm not going to be able to make a payment for the next 3 to 6 months. And so sometimes it takes like 2 years for someone to pay off a book. Do you all of a sudden catalog it now as sold? Like, oh yeah, it was sold today. What's today? March 16th in 2023, when they actually started paying for it 2 years ago. It just throws everything off. So I don't know if this is legit. I don't know. There's really no, you can't click it. You can't go into it. We do know this one right here. This is legit. This is sold for $5,100. If we go back, $7,500 in September. Okay, there. Yeah, so it is definitely going down, as you can see in this little graph. So 54, 55, it did better in Heritage, and if it does, I am happy camper. So I think that's a good price. Let's see, what is next? Journey of Mystery, 83, First Thor, 10. If I can compete with the big dogs, I am happy, especially on a book like that. All right, so $38.77 for 10. Let's see, 10, $38.77. So what do we got here? $31.20 for Heritage, just a month. Ours was February 11th, so this is pretty close. 31, so did better than Heritage. Happy there. This is $3,900, almost basically the same. And this is, again, I have no idea where this is sold or who sold it. So, I'm pretty happy. That's a good price. I'm just trying to get good prices for sellers and buyers. And since we have no fees, Heritage, let me tell you how much, you know how much Heritage costs? All right, they have your buyer's premium. So this includes buyer's premium. So if you're going to buy a book for $1,000 and you go to type in $1,000, it's going to say, okay, we have 20% buyer's premium. Now that $1,000 bid is actually going to be $1,200. So the buyer, you or me, whoever's buying the book on Heritage, calculates that in before they bid. They're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I was shocked. All of a sudden I did a $10,000 order and I have to pay an extra $2,000 I didn't know I was going to. No, you calculate that into your bid when you bid. So this includes buyer's premium. So that buyer's premium goes to Heritage. It doesn't go to you. So if someone's going to buy a $1,000 book, they'll bid, I don't know, like $820 or something like that. And then they add in the 20%. Well, now the seller is really only on a $1,000 book. They're really only getting about $800. And then Heritage on top of that takes a seller's fee. Now the seller's fee can be anywhere from 5 to 15%. Depends on your relationship with Heritage, and it depends on the value of what you're sending them. So if you send them something really expensive, they're going to knock that down. If you're sending them a $1,000 book, they're probably going to give you the 15%. So not only does that book that sells for $1,000, actually you only get really $800, but then they take another 15% from that $800. So let's see, 80 for $120 off of that. So you're looking at $680 is what you actually get for every $1,000. So this person, whoever sold it to Heritage, the seller of this book, is not getting anything close to this at all. So you're losing about 30% when you go to Heritage. But hey, we did better than Heritage for a 1-0. All right, next one. Spider-Man 129. So that was good. And we have 0% fees. No buyer's premium, no seller fees. So that means it works out better for everyone involved. Okay, so 8.5, 2,600. First appearance of Punisher, 8.5. Let's see, around February-ish, everything seems to be a little bit going up in March. All right, around February, here we go. We got 2,100 from Heritage, 2,160. We got this one around the same for 2,425. This one for 2,400. Really can't tell. There's no links to it. It might be eBay. It might be a buy it now through eBay. Maybe. I've never really seen a link for eBay to click. But anyways, around the same time, 24, 21, 21. These up here are 26, 27, but on average it's about 25, 26. So definitely better than the average, better than Heritage. That's weird. Why are they all better than Heritage? I don't know. Maybe just luck, I guess. Who knows? I mean, Heritage does list a lot, but they have a big customer base. Again, we have 0 fees. So good. That was a good price. Like there's like this sweet spot. Because if it gets way too high, right, for a common book. In common book, I mean like you can buy, I can go at any point and find Spider-Man 129. Now, yes, it's expensive, but it's common, right? You can find it any time. So a common book, especially Spider-Man 129, like the way I would look at it, like I want to get the seller a good price, right? I don't want something to go low. Like if that was a $2,500 book, I don't want to get like $1,800. Like it's like, ugh, right? That doesn't look like, if it averages around $2,500, it's like I got someone $1,800 or $1,900. It's just like, ugh, that's like, no one's going to like that. They're not going to come back and sell through us. So I want to make it as close to I can with the average, and the fact that we're giving 0% in fees, that just makes it better. Because the way I look at it, if it does go a little low, then, you know, maybe the no fees actually makes it better. Because if you sell through eBay, you're losing 15% because you got their payment processing thing that you have to do, and then you got their regular seller's fees. So what book am I looking at? So if I can get it around average, and then if the buyer, like if we type in eBay, let's see, CGC Spider-Man 129, what was that, 8.5? Sold for like 2,600, I think. And if the buyer can get it cheaper than they can anywhere else, let's see. So the cheapest one you could possibly, if you were like, hey, I want to buy an 8.5, like you're spending $3,000 minimum. So for the buyer, it works out too. So that makes me happy, right? Buyers and sellers win. And then you're thinking like, well, David, how do you win in this? Well, I'm building brand recognition, like people coming to the site more often. If you have a good experience, if you basically are a seller or a buyer and you have a good experience, hopefully you come back next time you want to buy or sell again. So that's how I win, because I'm small. Like I'm basically like a nobody. So it's going to take a long time to get to the point where people actually know about us. So if you do like our service, spread the word. Okay, 6.0. All right, let's see. Last one sold was $3,000, but then before that was 2,000, 2,000. July, obviously things have come down. So let's see, March 2025 was a recent sale. 5,100 for 7.5. What do we get? 60, 2200. So a little higher than a 55. I think this was probably a bit too high. This could have been long enough ago. The prices were different. I mean, you got 6.5 selling for 2,800, which is around the same time as this. So 6.5 is selling less than the 6.0. 22. Let's see, 1,100. Ooh, 1,300 for 3.5. 5,100 for 7.5. I don't know. I think 22 is fine. Like if you really put it in between these two, a 22 and a 29, probably looking at like 24 or something. I think this was a bit high, especially like look at this. Before that, it was averaging 2,100, and then it jumps up to almost 50% more, a little over 50% more. That seems way too high. Especially a 7.0 was selling for $3,000 around that time. So probably based off of like all these numbers right here, like this is an outlier. This 3,300, in my opinion, is an outlier. But based on all these numbers here, I would say maybe 24 would probably be a better price. But again, this is auctions. Things can go all over the place. So 22 is not bad when you factor in the fact that if you did get 24 somewhere else, like you're losing like 10 to 15% at minimum. So I think the seller is probably happy. I'm hoping they're happy. That's all I can say. All right, Daredevil number 2. I don't know if you guys are even interested in watching this kind of stuff. It's more for me, I guess. I'm kind of curious. $2,000 for a 2.0. I guess you can learn something. I'm maybe explaining how to price things, what things should really realistically go for. I just had a person comment to me. It's like these people want he's talking about Ultimate Fallout 4. And he's like, there's people on eBay that literally want a 9.8 for like $3,000 to $4,000 when the average one is selling for like 1,400 or whatever. I can't remember if it's 9.6 or 9.8. And I was like, yeah, there's people online put it in the marketplace at like things that should be like they're like 2-3 times the price that they're averagely going for, and they're just going to sit forever. All right, okay, 2.0. What did ours go for? A little over $2,000. Let's see what's going on. Okay, 20. Hey, is this ours? No, 2040. It was around the same time, February 12th. So basically the same, literally around the same time, sold for same as Heritage. These must be buy it nows or something sold. A little on the low side, I would say, for an auction though. They're as good as Heritage. Kang the Conqueror. This book's been dropping. I think once they realize the villain is not as good as people had hoped. All right, 7.0. Look how crazy that was. It was 2,500 on average. What was this, 2 years ago? 2 years ago. I mean, last year it was averaging 2,400. That's crazy. Look, it's just always like when I see the comic boom, it's just like, oh, things are going up. Things are just always. It's like all of a sudden the book goes like 2, 3, 4 times. It's just crazy how much things went up. Stupidly, I wish I would have sold a lot of my books. Oh well. All right, 7.0, 1,500. Around here, 17. Oh, look at this, 2,400. This is Heritage one. Heritage 24, way higher, way higher. So kind of low. I mean, I think these are probably buy it nows on eBay is what I'm thinking. You can always tell because it always has like an odd number sometimes. No, I guess ours is 1,500, so ours is a really odd number. But usually eBay has an odd number. Okay, so ours is a little low, I would say. But I guess if you factor in fees, so that's why we have 0 fees, so we can make sure we get people good prices. And if we don't, at least it comes close, and then you factor in no fees, then it's a win for them. The only one I mean, even though I don't think we lose out, the only one that we don't make any money, but so I guess you can consider that a loss for us. But you know, as long as people are happy. What grade is this? 5.0. Okay, let's go. A 5.5 recently sold for 1,600. 4.0 sold for about 13.5. 1,675. So 1,600 for a 5.5. This is 1,400 for a 5.0. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's fine. It looks like prices have been going down. Yeah, so this one's fine. I don't consider it bad. I already did a couple of these. Let's do Werewolf by Night. Signature series are always too all over the place. Let's do Fantastic Four. I won't bore with you guys with everything. I mean, you guys can look at this all you want. All you have to do is literally go to collectorscomics.com if you want to look at all of our auctions. So if you think like, oh, David is just cherry picking, you can look at all the data. You go to the featured auctions. Obviously, we don't have anything because we have our next auction coming up. But then we go to view past, and it's all in here. All of it is in here. That's how I find all this information. And this one obviously is the most recent one. You go to past auctions. You can look at all auction history. You can look at our fall, summer, spring. You can look at our very first auction and go through it all you want. And then you can sort it. Like, for example, this one's on the most recent auction. And then you can sort it price highest to lowest. And then you just hit that, and it'll filter it all. And then you guys can just go through your heart's content and look at them all, go through different pages, all that kind of stuff, whatever, you know. There you go. Go through multiple pages, look at all the stuff you want. But yeah, so let's just do these last couple and call it a day. Or this video will be 20 hours long because I am literally super slow and literally just talking about it as I see it. So I do not have an idea going in of what I'm going to do. So let's see, 6.5. So I'll end up rambling and ranting. All right, 1,034. Yeah, beat the whatever. Oh, it looks like it's kind of leveling off. Big up, go down. Yeah, okay, so most recent. It's probably around there. This book's, you know, obviously been dropping. All right, Fantastic Four. I mean, most of these books have been dropping, to be honest. All right, last one on this little listy here. 35. Sold for $900. Go down here. Gotta look. So this one sold for 18, 12. Kind of low, I guess. Even though it's kind of dropping. Okay, but you got 1080, but then you got a bunch around the 900s. The thousands, this one up for 12, but it looks like, you know, it's low. I would say it's low. It's not, it's tied for the lowest in the last, you know, 3 months. So, but I guess you factor in fees. So that will be it. That's it. Like I said, go to collectorscomics.com and fill out the thing if you want to do a submission. Have a good day.